Welcome back to Cynthia Untamed. My name is Cynthia Nyongesa, and this is your youthful and educational channel. On Cynthia Untamed, we plan and aim to inspire the current generation of leaders across the continent to dream big and hope deeply. So do tell a friend to tell a friend. If you are new here, you probably do not know that I am a student at the Kenya School of Law. If you are a returning subscriber, you probably know this, and I've been trying to document my journey at the Kenya School of Law. One of my videos was talking about how we were approaching probate and administration farm work, so do check it out. My current video, this video, will be talking about how we are tackling the legal writing and drafting project work. What is the difference between farm work and project work? Farm work basically is the assignment you're given by the lecturer, where you go to tackle a particular question and then you present it to the rest of the class, and that also complements the other methods of teaching at the school, which is through lectures, PowerPoint presentation, guest lectures, and all that. And that in that farm work, you're not usually assigned any marks, but of course it gives the lecturer and the rest of the class an impression about your group. On the other hand, project work is basically going to tally up to your total mark at the Kenya School of Law. At the Kenya School of Law, you're evaluated in different ways. So there's project work for every unit or subject, where you are awarded 20 marks each. Then there's the orals, which adds up to 20 marks. And then there is the bar exam, which adds up to 60%. And then there is the pupillage program, which does not come with marks, but you must do it because you need it. So you need a report where your pupil master is going to say that you are a good pupil, basically. But we'll cross the bridge when we get there. When I get to pupillage, I will make an effort to document that experience. So today we are tackling legal writing and drafting project work. Now, you will basically see the behind the scenes, but here are things that I have learned by tackling legal writing and drafting project work. Is that for every project work that you will do for all the 9 subjects, do not leave that project for one person to do. And this is something that we have learned as a group, that when you look at a question and you say A is going to do number 1, B is going to do number 2, or A is going to do the whole of legal writing and drafting, B will do the whole of probate and administration, what's going to happen is that that assignment will be submitted with the perspective of one person. Now, there's also another thing I have noticed, that when you look at a question, probably the lecturer says, identify the sources of law in this particular question. So I, as Cynthia, may look at that assignment and only figure out that there are only 2 sources of law. But had you brought in 5 heads or the whole group to discuss that particular question, you might actually come up with 10 aspects, 10 articles of the Constitution. So don't leave the assignment for one person. The other thing that we've learned is that everybody must participate in the tackling of all the questions. So what we've learned is that it's very good to give the group, each of the members, a couple of days to go sit down with a question and do a write-up and their own personal research of the understanding of the question. Once everybody has done that, if A comes up with 5 pages of research, the other one comes up with 2 pages of research, somebody else might come up with 10 pages of research. By the time you are meeting and you have a comprehensive, everybody has done a bit of comprehensive research, by the time you're discussing, that discussion will be so rich. And then now that's when you get to subdivide the work and give it now and say, maybe for legal writing and drafting, A will do question 1, B will do question 2, like that, so that you don't leave that assignment to one person. Or you don't say, if question 1 had 10 marks and question 2 had 20 marks, we had 1 in question 2 and we had 10 in question 1, and you blame the person who did the second question. You all take responsibility for that question because you all contributed to that question in as much as it was one person who went and actually did the final write-up. Lastly, don't leave the compilation to one person. You can do this. In that group, you'll find maybe 2 to 3 people, or one person is very good at compiling. But what you can do is you subdivide all the subjects to your group members, maybe 2 farm members, depending on the number, 2 farm members for each unit or 1 farm member for each unit. And then those people who are really good at compiling also get to sit in the small subcommittees where the compilation is happening. Why? Because maybe Cynthia will compile, but she's not exactly perfect at transitioning paragraph A to paragraph B. I hope you're getting what I'm saying. But she's put all the assignments together, and maybe she's struggling with enabling that flow of conversation to continue. This person who's very good at compiling will now come and read what Cynthia has compiled and say, okay, we'll correct here, we'll put it like this, we'll put it like this. So that is how we are approaching, and we hope that we will do well. Of course, now we are starting, so I'm just sharing the tips that I have. So I really hope that you'll look at my behind the scenes and you get to be inspired. I also just wanted to read a couple of tips that a former student shared. This person did their bar exams this year. This is the class of 2020. So here are some of the tips that he shared in terms of approaching project work, and we are also trying to follow them along as we invent our own. But I hope it helps you and gives you some sort of idea when you start working on your project work at the Kenya School of Law. So first tip, he says, the earlier you start, the better, since some lecturers will continue issuing farm work and you don't want to have a scenario where everything is piled up at the last minute. So for us, we have only 14 weeks to do all the 9 project work assignments. Then, I know there is a temptation to split the units amongst yourselves, seeing there are 9 units and roughly 10 members per farm. In my opinion, I'd suggest you tackle every unit together, but subdivide it amongst the members. Come up with an outline per question and split it amongst the members. So that's what I actually mentioned at the beginning. Do it together and then split it. Don't leave one unit for one person, because that one person may really struggle to do that whole project work. It's really a lot of work and you need a lot of minds to input into that assignment. Then, you all don't need to be in agreement of how to approach the question. So kindly note the same in your minutes. You're also going to write minutes, by the way, as you work, as you meet and as you do the project work. So he says, that might be what might save you, as seen in the previous cohort. Even if it's one against the entire group, kindly record that person's sentiments over the same. Then, the fourth tip, make sure you have good minutes. The lecturers actually go through them, and that's why you find people in the same group getting different marks for the same project work. So note that, have good minutes. Then he says, kindly make sure everyone participates and signs the final document. It would be a pity for someone to get 18 in orals but never participated in the project work, since she or he cannot do the bar exam. You'd rather get a 0 than incomplete. I hope you got that. This is the time where one easily gets burnt out, so take care of yourselves and give yourselves rightfully deserved breaks to avoid the same. It is a lot of work. It is a lot of work. I'll not even add on to that. I think that's why the mental talk this year was brought before you commenced your project work. Oh, that's another issue. We had a mental health talk in school. Then, tackle each question as if you are in the advocate's shoes and deal with all issues arising, especially in probate, if you want to get all the marks. I don't know if I mentioned this when we were doing the probate farm work, but guys, probate and administration has too many issues. I was getting overwhelmed. Because issues of succession are so complicated. I don't know, this person had a son with somebody he did not marry, or he cohabited with someone, or now he had a wife who he married in church, then decided to leave this wife and married another one through traditional ceremonies. So we don't know whether this marriage was legal because he did not divorce the first wife, who in that marriage only monogamy is allowed. So many things. I don't know, a friend showed up and said, oh, he said the car is mine when he dies. Now the other relatives are fighting. When the person dies, other children suddenly appear. My God, guys, succession just has too many things. It can blow your head off. But we've got this. Then, Strive to get at least 15 out of 20 for each project work, but if push comes to shove, then a bare minimum of 10, so that you don't have a hard time in the bar exam. Case in point, you get 8 in orals and 7 in project, then that means you'd need 35 out of 60 in the bar exam to reach the pass mark of 50. Whereas a person taking a receipt would require only 30 to pass. So good people utilize this opportunity to the fullest and achieve the highest marks possible. Okay, I don't know whether you got that, but basically what he's saying, your total marks add up to 100. 20 for orals, 20 for project work, and 60 for bar exam. So he's saying that if you get 18 in project, get 18 in orals, that means you have 36. And you need 50% to pass the bar exam. So by the time you're going to do the bar exam, do the math, you only need 14 to get to 50. Basically, that is what he's saying. But I'm not saying that you cannot get 90. But basically, that is what he's saying. Yeah, those are all the tips that he gave. I do hope that they'll help you. We are trying to implement them, so crossing my fingers that they actually work out, but really we are giving the best that we can. Personally, I am giving the best that I can, and I hope in the future that I'll be able to look back and say, yes, I did it. Yes, 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 I can. Yes, yes, I can. So whichever day you'll get to watch this, I send you good and positive vibes. As always, thank you for being part of Cynthia Untamed. I do hope that you have enjoyed this video and you will be inspired to continue working towards your goals. Do follow me on Instagram at CynthiaOprah_Nyongesa, on Twitter at Cynthia_Oprah, and check out my digital platform where I amplify the stories of young changemakers. It's called CynthiaUntamed.com, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.